You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network. Now, the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Celebrity Apprentice After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV Celebrity Apprentice After Show.
Hello, Bing is for doing, and we are, of course, doing another AfterBuzz TV show inside the wonderful AfterBuzz Studios. Talking, thank you very much, world, for all your clapping and cheering. We appreciate it. This is Celebrity Apprentice, season number 12, episode number 12. The episode is called Blown Away, and it is down to the wire. We start with 5 people. I'll tell you all about that, and we'll break down today's Celebrity Apprentice after show in just a bit, but I want to first say who we are. We're binging it. We're doing it. My name is Ronnie Jr. Well, hello. Next to me, across the table, I'm gazing into the eyes of creator of EatinAsian.com, a business, I call her the mogul in the making, or she's a mogul already. Awesome. Her name is Kimlai Yingling.
Hi. Good morning.
Good morning, good night, good day, good afternoon. We also have the comedian. She's a writer. She's got a very successful blog. It is called Sweat the Small Stuff with Kristen.
Oh, yeah.
Yay!
You got it.
Episode number 12.
Yay.
And what matches is your name is Kristen, so that works out fine.
It's crazy coincidence.
Yes, Kristen Carney.
Yeah, it's weird.
Oh my gosh.
It works out wonderfully. Anyway, Celebrity Apprentice, and before we get started, we had some shout outs, so we'd like to say hello to the people that watch the show.
Absolutely. We definitely want to give some Twitter love. Shout out to @CookieBruno,
Hey.
@Grant Michael R.
Yes, he does. He's a buzzer.
Yeah, right. @DDA1. And last but not least, @Watchtower Base.
That's right. And they're all at the chat room and, talking to each other and supporting Celebrity Apprentice. We appreciate that.
Shout out. Woo-hoo.
Here's the thing, too. Like, what we're doing as far as everyone exposing AfterBuzz, everyone's kind of, letting that reputation go really, really well in the sense that they're like, oh, you know about AfterBuzz yet? Well, let me tell you. So it's kind of like wildfire. Like, everyone's getting to know. So we appreciate that. You stop and you talk to a friend about us. That's
Absolutely.
we love that. Also, our iTunes people that continue to rate and comment the show. And,
we love it.
It's nice. It allows us to come here and do a great Celebrity Apprentice after show for you. So, Blown Away is the name of the episode, ladies.
Yes.
Which is inspired by the Chi. Yes, the product. Okay. So we start off. You know what? Every episode, Kristen, I've noticed we've been doing in our notes at least the post drama from the boardroom. This was like the first episode in a long time that we didn't have, at least notes wise. It was last week. Diana was gone, and we just moved right along.
Yeah.
It was a very interesting episode. And
That was kind of like a clean wound.
It was a
Diana
clean.
going.
It was like
just
she was
a clean
ready.
cut. We knew it was coming.
Oh, it was definitely ready.
And
yeah.
so even watching the episode was like so weird because you're like, what is actually happening? Everything's moving really, really quick, and we have a big surprise that happens later on. So I'll tell you about that, or we'll get to it. But we start off at the Hearst Tower, a media company. We meet Elle Magazine's Robbie Myers, editor over there for Elle Magazine. That's like a really nice
It's a cush job, hard job.
Oh, okay.
But
it's got enough perks.
But it's like,
definitely.
Kristen, you always say you're not the average female. You're like a little bit different. You're of course gorgeous, but like Elle Magazine, can you break down your interpretation of what Elle Magazine is?
Elle Magazine is too expensive, so I don't buy it.
Oh my goodness,
no,
you guys.
It's the magazine. Like, I don't usually buy a lot of magazines, but when I go to the airport, it's the one that I'll go when I'm waiting for my flight, and I'll flip through it, but I won't actually buy it because I know when I get it, it's only going to be the ads.
There's a lot of ads. It's beauty. It's beauty. It's a beauty magazine.
Okay.
And so I think if I just flip through it once, I get the gist, and I don't really have to read the details.
All right. Well, that way I could at least know.
But it's very, up
it's
there.
stylish, right?
Yeah, it's New York high class.
Yes.
Okay.
And if
so-
someone was really, really, really into fashion, like if that was their world, they would probably, you'd take them and you'd tear them out and you'd probably put them up on a bulletin board.
And so that gives you the idea of mixing the two together. So you have the Chi, the brand new hair dryer, and it's going, and the ad that the two teams are going to be working on, one of them will actually be in the magazine. So
maybe.
That was weird.
It was a possibility.
That was weird to me.
Elle magazine does have a really high expectation of what will be in its magazine, so they kept it. They kept it like that because even though it's on Celebrity Apprentice, it might not be the greatest ads in the world.
I don't think either one of them are going to be.
No way, they're not doing that.
I don't think either one.
You're right, you guys. It wasn't.
They both to me looked like the quality of like maybe more of a lower level store.
Oh, okay.
Maybe Macy's would work. For those ads. But I mean, Macy's is deals. They could use those kind of
I'm wondering if the problem with the task, and we'll get to who the project managers are in a second, the problem, I'm just wondering, is maybe the level of excellence. If you say Elle is just a really fancy magazine, I mean, were the contestants not ready to step up to that level? I mean, we are getting down to the top 5 or whatever. What was the challenge there? Because both of them we didn't like. I mean,
I think advertising is difficult,
right?
I mean, they're not trained advertisers.
No,
they're doing what they can.
You have to convey a message without talking.
Yeah.
So visually, you have to get every single thing. You have to be able to look at that ad and get every single message they're trying to do.
Yeah.
And it's not easy.
Yeah. What they really have to do is put together a checklist.
Right.
We have to have the brand messaging. We have to have the information, which is really important because these clients want people to understand how to use their product. The look has to be there.
The product.
The level of sophistication has to be there. It's like there's a long laundry list of all the things that they're supposed to do. And I think being a celebrity...
A lot of things were not checked off.
Right. And being a celebrity doesn't make you a great advertiser.
No.
So
they learned. I mean, they talked about learning themselves, even Teresa. So it is the hair dryer. It's supposed to be very elegant, which is great because it matches to Elle. So you're kind of grasping what the demographic is. Now, what I'm not grasping is why Teresa would match that. I know she's a very elegant lady, probably, maybe from the Housewives show, but I guess not. She flips tables, but she decides she wants to become project
she
manager.
definitely uses hair straighteners.
Well,
so
yes, but I think it gives her
Chi.
another opportunity to try to make money for her charity as well.
Yeah, try.
And I think Teresa's somebody who through and through is really confident and really believed that she could have won this. And I think there's people who are like Lisa and Arsenio that doubt her level of intelligence rising to theirs. And so they look at her as not competition, but I think Teresa truly believes that she can win.
Yeah, and that's good. Like you say, there's down to 5 people. I mean, who's going to be project manager? It can't be the same other people over and over. So Teresa steps in for unanimous.
I mean, it could have been Aubrey.
It could have been. I mean, I feel like she just won recently, so maybe that's why they, you got to give everyone a shot. Over on Forte's side, we have Lisa, who steps up as project manager. And by the way, when we were watching the entire episode, we could never really grasp who was the project manager. Obviously, we knew it was Lisa, but it just seemed like she was eating. Although that's the way they edit the show. Every shot, Lisa was eating.
I thought that they both had pretty even. I mean, I know that they showed her sitting there eating during that time, but she at the beginning she did the writing, and then Clay, of course, was doing with the models. I know Clay felt he was doing. It's hard, I think, when you have 2 now, and you both need to be hustling at the same time, because if you have one just sitting on the couch or one just doing nothing, you're going to get a little upset. Well, you feel like you're doing it all.
One of Lisa's major critiques for Diana last week was that she wasn't really managing them at all. And then Lisa kind of turned around and was pretty. I think Lisa thought that she was in the clear. Clay's on her side.
What you say makes sense, but at the same time, I guess I'm kind of going off Kimlai. Like there is just, it's either me or it's you. So there wasn't.
Right, there's not.
You almost lose a leadership quality because
Definitely.
it's like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And you don't have to manage people as much. But reality is Lisa should have still managed. And I think she gave that up a little bit.
I do too. I think she did a little bit.
In the edit, as far as what we saw on the show, we didn't see much of Forte. It was one of those other episodes where you see a lot of one team. So actually in my notes, I do have much more to talk about with Unanimous. They lead off as always, Aubrey jumping right into the fire and flirting with the guy from Chi, the hairdryer, about the ad. And it's funny, it's natural, it's the same thing. Arsenio starts with a couple quotes, which are funny. He had a lot of quotes, I thought, on today's episode. Right. He says, he was kind of complimenting Aubrey. It was a world-famous compla diss, where it's like a compliment and a diss together. And he says, talking about Aubrey, if she wasn't such a bitch, I'd really be into her. So
right.
He was just kind of going on and on about how great she was, but she's a bitch. That's what he said. So that's kind of how it starts off. It does seem like we see Arsenio, we see Aubrey, and we don't see Teresa, who's supposed to be the project manager.
Right. I think she lost a little control.
Teresa's the project manager who just does busy work. It's like she's doing stuff, but she's never really doing anything. You know, it's like nothing really adds or amounts to anything when she's finished, but she's running around in her high heels or something, and it looks like she's doing something. So she
really thinks that she is doing something.
Right, but she's definitely not.
It's so odd.
When I watch her be the project manager, I don't know why. Maybe it's because we know she has children from the show. She puts them on her housewives show. I feel like I'm watching a woman who's volunteering at the PTA. Like, I feel like it's like the child's like Christmas program, and she's just a mother and she's helping out. So she is doing a lot of things, but she's definitely not leading the group. You know?
Now, I wonder if they're disappointed a little bit with the casting, just because, you know, you're not getting the Teresa from the Housewives.
I don't think so, but you know the show more.
That show's a little crazy, and I think there's a lot more things on that show to push your buttons and can make you appear to be psychotic. And this show, there wasn't necessarily so many things, and I think they were hoping for that psychotic Teresa, which we haven't seen yet.
I think if Teresa had stuck around past this episode, which I know she wouldn't have, but if she did, and if Lisa,
one thing for sure.
and if Lisa had stuck around past this episode, I think if we let them sit together for maybe an episode or two, I thought they could have boiled up a little bit and gave us some good drama, but it never, the chance was never there because Diana was the roadblock between Teresa and Lisa.
Yes, but Lisa, today when they were negotiating for the models, I mean, Lisa tried so hard to... I felt so bad for Teresa. She had no idea what was going on. I mean, she was Diana this week. Yeah. She had no idea what Lisa was doing to her. But yet in her mind... She thinks that Diana didn't steamroll her. Or Lisa didn't, wasn't doing anything, wasn't
Diana
manipulating.
In the game.
I don't miss Diana, but
I think that shows.
I do think she's so pretty.
I think that shows that Teresa's a little thick. Like her head's like she's a little bit thick-headed because if you didn't see that Lisa just steamrolled you, it's
and
good
she even
to play
said
things
that she
off
did
and
it.
confident.
Can we look at it from the other side?
Yes.
Because I obviously feel the exact same way as you guys. You're looking at Lisa Lisa demanding and stealing the attention and really running over Teresa. I got it. I'm just trying to think, maybe was Teresa's, this is giving her too much credit, but maybe was Teresa just trying to be easy going with get out of there and get back to work? I mean, maybe, could that be it? I think
Teresa used that as a cop-out, as her go-to, like, oh no, I just got screwed. I'm going to say this was the reason why.
Yeah, I don't think Teresa had any idea what was going on.
Like, we can't give her that much credit to have thought that far ahead. Okay.
No, it's very similar to Diana.
I mean, people who succeed in business think like Lisa. And Teresa succeeded in other ways. I don't think she would have made it as a businesswoman just off of being a businesswoman. She had to get famous doing something else first and then call herself a businesswoman.
Yeah.
But Lisa did it the way a professional would do it. And it's scary, and I would probably have been Teresa in that scenario. I would have buckled. Oh my God.
For Lisa to
being really nice. And
I wouldn't have known to go, I'm not a good negotiator.
Well, and the thing they were fighting over was actually kind of important. It was.
It was.
Well, Kimlai, you want to break?
Yes. I mean, they had to pick the models that were actually going to be in the ad. And so they all had to say, like, they were each given a list of 10. Each team was given a list of 10. The project managers needed to come together and negotiate on who was going to get what models. Well, Forte could have cared less who they got for models. Yeah. And unanimous specific, we got to have the redhead. We got to have the white dude with the big brown hair. We've got to have the other, the white girl with the brown hair.
He looked like Weird Al. To me.
Yeah, that was a little odd.
He looked like Constantine Maroulis, who was on the Rock of Ages in American Idol. I don't know where that came from, but that's what he looked like.
When they were negotiating, Lisa knew that Teresa, she could sense that. And when you're a business person, you know when someone wants something so bad, sometimes you can't help but to screw with them a little bit. Yeah. Because it's fun in a healthy way. Yeah. It's fun. And she did, but she took it to another... Oh my gosh, she played with her too much.
It didn't really end up mattering.
No.
It didn't matter because...
Well, especially since that girl didn't end up having red hair.
Right, she didn't have red hair.
It didn't even matter,
but
really.
The ads, no matter what models they had in the ads were still the ads. The models didn't make that much of a difference. So I don't want to jump to the boardroom, but that should have been a main argument from Teresa to keep herself around is that, I might have screwed up the negotiation, but guess what? It didn't make or break our ad campaign. Yeah. But she didn't point that out.
Teresa really had a hard time in the boardroom. Again, we will jump to with that. Before we do anything else, and we'll talk about kind of like the redhead and why that was so important. It was obviously the guy from the hairdryer company, and he was flirting with the redheaded Aubrey, so that was kind of like a thing that he liked. Oh, and he wore red shoes too. But if you're going to buy shoes, I think it is important for us to just kind of like, you know, open up and tell you guys what we think. Something that works out really good for the AfterBuzz Studios. You like love it. It looks really cool and everything like that. Obviously, hair and makeup for Kimlai and Kristen and that whole deal.
Oh yes, they're really doing a stellar job on me tonight.
Right. Well, part of that, you know, does take a little bit of change, a little bit of, you know, money, cashola. If you'd like to help out, one thing that we do have now is called the Amazon Affiliate Program. Very, very cool. If you're an online shopper, which a lot of people do these days because you got a busy life, I get it. We just say, hey, go through our AfterBuzz website rather than going straight to Amazon. We're not gonna force you to buy anything. Just go to AfterBuzz, hit the banner on the top right, and then go ahead and continue to shop away for Amazon.
Yeah, takes you straight to Amazon.
So whatever you buy, like we get a little bit of that because we kind of like hinted for you to get to Amazon, and then like our studios could continue to be really nice. So, and you can buy a hairdryer if you want. I mean, that's like
you could buy the Chi dryer. I'm sure you can absolutely buy the Chi dryer. Yeah, it's touchscreen technology.
Yeah,
I use Chi products. I use the Chi flat iron for years.
There you go. And see, with the I was gonna ask you guys. I thought the touch aspect of it was gonna be plugged in more, but it really kind of fell off.
There's so many.
I think
things,
it did.
It definitely fell.
Yeah,
there's so many things you can do with the idea of touch that they didn't really touch upon. But
were you touching yourself?
I was. Like,
what are you doing?
Live example.
Okay, hold on. We have to touch ourselves.
There go the ratings.
You know, we saw Aubrey just kind of go right to that Chi meditation, which was I thought was
cool
okay.
Idea.
It was cute, you know. But again, it doesn't really feed to the product. What is the product? It's a touch screen.
Very future.
I shouldn't say this, but do you think the product was a little too confusing? I mean, it's a hairdryer, and they made it like it was a flying spacecraft. Like it was just the most. I mean. I'm only giving defense because this was probably the first task, I'll speak for myself, but I think all of us, that we looked at both sides of it and we're like, we weren't, us, the viewers here, we weren't really that impressed by both teams. Like Forte didn't impress me, Unanimous didn't impress me. I was a little like, wow, I wanted more, but maybe the damn hairdryer,
there's no real,
it's not going to space.
There's no real benefit of a touchscreen hairdryer to me because if you're using a blow dryer and you happen to touch the screen while you're blow drying your hair, you're changing the setting while you're blow drying your hair. That's kind of annoying. I don't find that to be a huge benefit.
I know, but it's on this part. You
Glad
know how you
have
campaign. If, you know,
it's
if
over
you're trying
here.
to, you know, if you're blow drying your hair underneath or whatever, and then what I want to say on that is that what's important, I think, to someone who wants a hairdryer, a good hairdryer, is that it's going to make your hair look better.
Okay.
That's the key.
That technology of they were talking about it. The NASA technology, it dries faster.
Right, but it's like you want your hair to look luxurious and smooth. And yes, it's a touch screen, but they didn't bring any beauty necessarily of what your hair is going to look like.
Do you guys think
from using this dryer? That's why I would choose a dryer.
Maybe because of the tie-in with Elle magazine and it was so print ad driven, maybe everyone lost the Chi aspect of it, of the hairdryer, and went more for this great, you know, the photo of, what did Teresa say?
The photo shoot?
She loves photo. I'm a photographer. I love pictures. I'm a photographer.
I don't know how to take them, but I love looking at them.
Maybe we kind of did lose the message in that because it was so weird.
I think so too. It became more about, I think with is it Unanimous? Is Aubrey?
Yep.
Okay. I think with Aubrey's Unanimous,
Teresa,
who was the project manager. I think it did become more about the models and Aubrey's idea and Aubrey being a model. You know, because the features,
a knack for sneaking herself in.
The features of the blow dryer you didn't even really see. I mean, you would have thought that they would have had a close up lit shot of the blow dryer and the new technology.
Celebrity Apprentice fans, iTuners, let me just tell you, like, Kimlai comes up with the greatest thing, and it doesn't seem like this rocket scientist, you know, idea, but Kimlai's like, at least could we have seen the
product?
We've seen the product lit differently or something, and you were so right about that, because it got lost in all the photos, even though the photos look great. Yeah. You didn't even see it.
No.
Maybe one of the girls kind of had the Zen one.
And also Aubrey, you know, looked pretty sexy in her picture, but the woman said specifically, this is a quote, "There's sexy and there's vulgar, and we're never vulgar." And not that they brought up that ad was vulgar at all. It wasn't, but it was like a little bit, I thought, on the border of it being a little trashy, but
on the border all the time.
So it's like, I think Aubrey gets mixed up in being Aubrey, and
I think
like
she tries to
doing
push the envelope so much, and she wants to be different, and she wants to be out of the box. But sometimes it's hard to kind of see what's really outside of the box, what's really
Yeah.
pushing the envelope,
Well,
and what's really right for.
And we
the
know she
person.
lives the big risk, big reward comment. Like
Yeah.
that's like her thing. So,
Yeah.
and it's a great thing. Like I think we all aspire to have that too. But if
course.
she's doing it on every task, like some of them won't work. And you're right. It was the very zen one for this one girl, and then like this other pose looked complete. It was as if you were looking at two different teams.
Yeah.
So that fell short. And then on the other team, we have kind of like, I liked it, but you made a point, or somebody made a point about all the writing or whatever would not appear in an Elle magazine, even though it had a lot of great information, but they don't do their ads like that.
It's about images.
Yeah.
Images. Those ads, those images in those ads are what sells you. If you can't look at the ad and the image and know what that brand is, they haven't done their job.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
about the images.
Yeah, if you look at Elle magazine and you go through the advertisements, they're all more beauty based, beautiful lighting, beautiful makeup, beautiful outfits, but no, they don't have like tons of copy. You know.
Oh,
This
is that
is what- well-
Donald Trump just texted you right now?
Yes,
Clearly.
Donald Trump over at Watchtower Base. He just sent a tweet and he
by
said there's
way
no,
of.
no relation to. Okay, I won't read that one. Kimlai, a touchscreen for a hair product. Am I hearing right? I thought you watched the show, yo. Yes, we are going to the future. It is a touchscreen for a blow dryer.
It's just-
She's
tough
always
product.
in the future.
Yeah, a tough product, I think, or not tough, but
I think it's tough when you. That's why Elle said this may or may not appear in our magazine.
that's so lame. Though.
And
You're
no,
getting-
it's not lame. They
I
got
know, you're right, you're right.
$100,000 tonight.
And Elle
Whoever
has to-
won.
Elle has an image to uphold. If they just start throwing in ads that look like, you know,
Aubrey?
Shia, then yeah. I mean,
Well, she did.
That
say,
sexy ad.
Aubrey was very proud to say,
Aubrey
hey,
walking around with her booblies hanging out
she
tonight.
was very proud to say, I've been in Elle magazine. You know, maybe the other cast members haven't. She goes, the only thing is I've always been on the worst dressed list. So like, I was like, so
I know,
cool
it was
with
cute.
herself.
That was
She's-
cute.
so,
hey, no, we have got. Hey, no. I hate it when people do that, and I did it. Hey, no, yes, what?
Usually
No,
you say,
yeah.
you guys.
You guys.
That's your lead-in.
Teresa, we have got to talk about the presentations. You guys. Now I know I'm saying it.
I want to get that on loop at one point.
That
Make
you
a song
guys,
out of it.
you guys.
And no one knew she was project manager, not even the pizza guy.
Oh, I know. But her giving that presentation, it was like watching a first grader learn to read. I felt so. What was really? I can't even believe they showed that on TV
And
tonight. That was
wasn't even-
horrible.
That wasn't even edited bad. I mean,
that just
They
shows
didn't
that
edit. There was no edits.
It was
It
live.
was like, today you're going to see Chi.
and I'm trying so hard to think why or defend her, but I don't know what happened.
I
there.
mean, you just
I'm a
see
bad reader
that
too, so.
why you know
Well, this
why
was really
Teresa
bad.
became a celebrity, and it has nothing to do with her ability to perform. She is not a performer.
No, she's not she doesn't like presenting anyway.
She can't she can't speak in public. It's like a train wreck that she just happened to luck out that this Housewives show came around, because otherwise she would have never ever been famous, because you can't you have to be able to present yourself in a manner that Aubrey can, and I hate to say that, but the way Aubrey can,
No,
and the way
it's-
that Arsenio can.
But
that's
that's
why
true.
that's why they're in the limelight. Because
Yes.
they know how to do it. Teresa happens to be in this world for some reason, and I like Teresa. She's
In this world, for some reason, Kristen,
not the world, but like Hollywood world.
Okay.
that's going back to, I really,
cute.
really do think that they were expecting the Teresa from the show. And they didn't get it.
Definitely.
They didn't get it.
Yeah.
So I think she's going to go next week. Oh, prediction. Oop, ahead of time.
Not next week, right now.
She left
right this
already.
second.
No, in a few minutes.
Oh, okay. Like when we get to the end
Oh,
of the-
wait, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Do you know what day it is? No.
No. Can it be next Friday?
We'll let you know here. So listen, I
forgot.
Lisa and Forte, again, we kind of forget who is the project manager.
Yes.
But it is Lisa. She's eating a lot. Clay is he's picking out the models, but Lisa's picking out the clothes. They're just kind of doing their own thing. The concept was all Lisa thing, right? Anti-women stereotypes, right?
Yeah, so it's more than a pretty face.
Which is like, I thought
It should have
Diana would have
been-
been great to be in this task.
This one would have been good for
Yeah.
her.
But how would have Lisa been able to do that?
That would have been funny if they called her up to model.
Oh, that would have been so great for the show.
That would have been really funny.
That would have made Donald like impressed.
Donald would have loved it.
Yeah, of course. More Diana.
Definitely.
Well, it should have been not just more than a pretty face. It should have been more than just a blow dryer or something. Because then
Girl, you are on to something.
you got lost in this. Like, why are we looking at women about like their personalities right now? Like,
And the
I'm
ads look like
buying
every
a
other
blow
ad
dryer.
you've seen.
Yeah,
And it did look
They
very
were very
80s.
J.C. Penney's 80s.
That's
Very
that
80s.
is what
Teen
the
section.
woman from Elle said. She said this is great little idea, but I'm not. It didn't match the standards of Elle magazine.
I'm going to use your favorite word, Ronnie. It was convoluted.
Why is that my favorite word? I can
There
barely
you go.
spell it,
There you go.
It just had two. It was like
You don't have to be able to spell it. It's okay.
I know. I was attempting to be a comedian like Kristen.
Do you want to spell it?
I'm not attempting anymore.
Failed. So really, there wasn't much more to it. Like we're just like watching the show. We were like, I guess the show's an hour and a half.
I know.
We get to the boardroom where we were mistaken, as I'll tell you.
That's it.
Boardroom, and really, even there wasn't anything really going on. There's a couple like, what do you think of this person? What do you think of that person? Did anything stick out to you guys in that?
I mean, Arsenio, I think, was a little. I mean, he was like a pit bull with Teresa tonight, and they're getting down to the wire. So, I think he was fighting for his life. And he's not going to fight with Aubrey right now.
Yeah.
Teresa is the weakest link right now, and is the easiest person that I think is a target to fight with.
Winning an argument.
Were you guys shocked at all who did win? I mean, Lisa and Clay, they took the win right away. Did that get you guys at all? Or?
A little bit.
It was a quick thing. Like I said, the edit was just real fast. We just right away saw that they won. This was Lisa winning $100,000 for her charity. I think the second time, $100,000 because it was matched by Elle. We don't know if her picture was in the magazine. This is for the Gay Men's Health Crisis, which is in New York City also.
Yes.
So she's making some money. She's adding up some cash, which we found out later on. Not all the cast members have been getting a lot of money as far as for their own charity. They've been working hard, but not, and that counts. Says John Rich. Yes, it was. Aubrey didn't really say nothing.
I'm sorry. I don't want to. Are we leaving the boardroom? Right now?
There's so much to the boardroom. There was a lot to the boardroom.
Okay, I was like, are we out of the boardroom?
No, we're just getting rid of the one group, which is Forte. They're gone. That's it.
Well, are you talking about Clay and Lisa?
Yeah, Forte, yes.
I wanted to just say that I thought Clay and Lisa, if they had lost, would have really duked it out, because it wasn't like an argument between Arsenio and Teresa where obviously we know Arsenio's going to win the argument. If it was Clay against Lisa, putting them up head to head.
I think Clay, he would have given Lisa definitely a run for her money.
Because he's full of surprises, and Lisa is a tiger in there and can really eat somebody alive. But I think Clay could have been really cool against her, and I would have liked to see that.
Agreed.
Yeah. But anyway.
That's
and the Forte. You guys move on to unanimous.
That's what could have happened. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Kristen.
I don't know.
But it did ultimately result in the other team, which was unanimous. Again, Aubrey wasn't really even involved in it. She kind of stayed low key, which was important. And it was the saddest, most difficult for this season, at least, to just look at this woman named Teresa be sweet as sweet can be, but as naive as you can possibly be as well.
Yeah.
It was just sad. And she was trying. I mean, at some point, you almost wanted her to be like, I guess I should be going, Donald. I mean, she had nothing. She went and said, I know about photography as well. And then Arsenio, who does photography, he like called out a bunch of terms. And then she said, oh no, I mean like in the sense that like I like photos. I like to look at pictures. She said, I like to look at pictures with my family.
Yeah, I
took a picture of my first grader. I mean, it was the
expansion of her mind and her ability to use the brain is limited, and that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
I think it's definitely limited, but it's limited outside of her element. Like if she was in her own element, I think where she felt like she was supported more by her family or something, she maybe would have been able to really reach out.
And Arsenio was not that rude to her, but he did come up with great quotes like don't throw me into the bus because I'll back it up and I'll run you over with it.
That was a good one.
I mean, I felt like he had a couple ready to go. He spent those nights like writing things down, like he was ready to bring sound bites.
I'm gonna post that one. I like that one.
Okay.
He said don't attach to Aubrey's wagon because you ain't got your own or something like that.
Yeah, and he rolled his neck just like that. Yeah, Arsenio. Can we, and I feel like I've only been doing this to the last two contestants, like Diana and Teresa, who've just been really, it was the two times in the boardroom where we're just like, they're absolutely going, there's no question. With that said, it's giving me this, I believe Teresa should have went, and I believe Diana should have went, but it does give me this like compassion for them in a little bit, like, can we say, is Teresa just terrible at business, or she's just really, really bad at the way she handles herself in the boardroom? Like, can we see a glimmer of talent with her at all, or did we see it all right there?
Well, I mean, she's got, I definitely will say, I think talent in regards to being able to use the name that's being built because of the Housewives. I mean, I'm sure she's got a good team behind her.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Italian.
I don't want to give people too much credit for that. I don't want to give people too much credit for that, though, by the way, because it's like, because you're on a reality show and then you get famous and you become a businesswoman where you have cookbooks and lines of drinks and all this stuff. It's like, it's not that hard when you have 25, 30 people doing it for you.
Yeah.
So
every time she opens her mouth,
excuse.
you know. It's like when she was talking about her food, her books, and she was, is there like cumin in it? I think it's called cumin, right? It's cumin, by the way. But it went on and on and on. That was my point.
Yeah.
She doesn't even know the ingredients. So you know she's not the one writing these books.
Yeah.
She's not the one who's, I should be on Celebrity Apprentice. Well, I'm sure she's got a good publicist. She's got a good team.
Well,
I mean, that's what it is.
She was let off in the entire season as, very sweet. So, I mean, that's got to count for something for her. I'm just trying to look at
I like
her.
her.
What is that supposed to count for? What do you mean?
Well, like as far as her image, like there's people like myself who didn't really always watch her flip tables. I mean, I do know her from the show a little bit, but
got it.
Like you said, there's probably a lot of disappointed people from maybe NBC that are like, oh, we expected to get this crazy lady, and she was over here being the nicest person. I think that's maybe something that was really good for her image.
Yeah,
definitely.
definitely.
She'll grow.
Sure. I think reality shows will stereotype you.
Yeah,
and that's the price you pay for being on a reality show.
Yeah, so. So she goes home. We're like, oh my gosh, the episode's over in an hour and a half.
So fast, right?
Not the normal 2-hour marathon that we usually see. And Kimlai, what happened? Surprises
Surprise!
and all this. Should we get right into it, or should we jump to a commercial and come back and talk about the surprises? Because it just never happens.
Let's do a quick commercial, and then we'll come back and do
Marissa,
a
if
quick
that's
recap.
okay, I want to go to AfterBuzz and do the Amazon thing. So while I do that, hit a commercial, and then we'll talk about the surprise.
Hit it, girl.
TV. Hi, I was once like you. A lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And, like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives, and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
Oh, hey, what do you want to buzz about? What do you want to bing about? We are doing it. We are binging it out. Celebrity Apprentice, Season 12, Episode 12. Blown Away. We're talking about the hairdryer, and we're talking about Teresa getting fired. She's fired on the show. And then it's like, okay, so the show's over, hour and a half. Clearly, Kimlai, that's not what happened. Kristen, that's not what happened.
My Lord.
So they're all talking, and then they get the call. Clay answers the phone, and all four got to go back to the boardroom for 2 people to be eliminated. It gets a little interesting because they bring back former contestants, winners, might I add.
The winner, John Rich.
John Rich and Marlee Matlin,
Runner-up.
so we know them. We fell in love with them on the show before, prior, on Celebrity Apprentice. And then we get to see them kind of grill each of the contestants.
Wow, did they? Holy cow.
And even first, I thought it was funny because in Donald Trump fashion, we do see a little quick segment where it's like, tell me about how well you've done since the Celebrity Apprentice. Like, Donald owns the world, I think, really.
Well, we haven't seen you enough, but we want to thank you again.
Yes. So basically
my goodness.
The breakdown was, tell me how great your life has been since you've been involved with me, is how it really read out. But, Donald he's great at that. So he brings them back, and then we talk with all 4 people. What did you guys think? I didn't expect John Rich to be so he was out for blood in a nice way. He had to get, I guess that was his task, but
right. I thought he was especially hard on Clay.
I thought he was especially hard
and
on Aubrey.
Aubrey as well. She started tearing up.
I think Aubrey started tearing up because she felt cornered, because I think Aubrey's so used to being able to argue her way through and get her way that he was like tougher than her, and I think it scared her, and I think that's why she was crying.
And I think that wasn't she was crying before too when she got cornered, remember? I don't remember who it was with or which episode, but
it was with our
she was
she was the first she was the first one to go up there, and really all they're doing is
just interviewing.
It's a quick
they're
meet
just
and
doing
greet.
Interviews,
yeah,
and they're supposed to let Donald Trump know out of the 4 what 2 they would get rid of,
right,
and what 2 will stay for the final 2 for Apprentice.
And I think both of them really based it on their personalities more so than the tasks. Really, I think they kind of picked who they liked.
Tacky. It almost looked very personal. It looked anti-celebrity apprentice. I thought so too. I didn't really want to say it, but yeah,
because it seemed like Marlee really liked Arsenio, his personality. But you could tell she doesn't really like Aubrey, you know. So of course she's not going to say go with Aubrey.
Yeah.
So I thought it was kind of weird that way. It was fun. I liked it. But.
Obviously, in true Aubrey, you know, as much of a fan I am of hers, I do like or could appreciate just in the sense that she went in there and realized her other people that she's competing with. She called out what she needed to call out. I'm 27 years old. I'm one of the younger people competing. I felt like she did as good as she can do, despite, you know. Because if they're gonna already judge you, they're gonna already judge you.
Right.
Did you hear what I said when she was going in? I was like, oh no, she's gonna have to like dye her hair blonde and like tone it down because Marlee Matlin is not gonna
dye her hair brown and button up the jacket.
Like she's gonna have to simmer
do.
down. Yeah. And that's also like your audience too, because like depending on who you're talking to, let's say like Joan Rivers comes back. Let's say Joan Rivers was in the exact same position and she was forced to judge or interview these people. Maybe someone like Aubrey or Lisa does better. But you got Marlee Matlin and John Rich. Nothing's wrong with them, but I'm just saying it does kind of change things a little bit. So I didn't know what was going to happen. The the issue that they had with Aubrey, this was more Marlee, was you know, are you very sincere? Are you sincere at all about your charity? What did you think, Kimlai?
Well, I think that Aubrey is so used to getting her statement out there. Like, I'm 27 and I am an A-type personality and I'm the one who always has the ideas and it's like she's always fighting for herself even when she doesn't need to be fighting for herself, and she's always at one level. So instead of maybe like slowing it down a bit, like, you know what, this is a charity. I was really everything's one level. You know, how about I was really super, super bullied. I didn't, you know, and so the reason I want this charity is because I want to touch other people and show them, not touch them like that, but touch the hearts of other people that have been bullied and, you know, help them to understand, you know, whatever it may be. It's like Marlee as well called out that she's not sincere. It's like every single person has called her out on her shit. Every single person.
It's because she's very calculated. She thought if I go in there and I list all
that's a really good word.
If I list all of these charities that I have worked for in the past, it'll make me look good.
Oh yeah, that's another one. It's like just answer the question. Well, that wasn't the question.
That was what Marlee didn't like the best.
It's fine. I mean, she's fine. She just doesn't. She just seemed calculated, and she doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
And when Marlee asked Clay about his experience, he actually started the foundation. He started his charity. So it was like, obviously the passion is there and the sincerity is there. And you could see like Marlee, like the glimmer in her eye. Yeah. You could tell she was sold.
Well, he had a really good, and I didn't realize how much it was going to be about the charities. Like, you just don't know what they're going to ask you, really. So you have to really be prepared for anything. With him, he said, you know, before I got American Idol, I was actually working with the schools or whatnot. So it sold.
He's a teacher.
Yeah, it sold everything he was doing. So that was actually really big Clay points.
I think it makes a huge difference when you are involved with an organization because you have compassion for that organization or some sort of empathy because you've experienced it, than when you're just picking an organization, like Adam Carolla. Yeah. I'm going to make fun. That was funny. When he just picks an organization.
Okay, I do want to say something really, really quick about that since you brought that up.
She said, don't you talk about Adam.
Well,
it wasn't bad.
Well, we had a commenter on iTunes to get our facts straight. And I just want to set the record straight.
Do it, girl. Do
our facts were actually straight.
Oh.
On one of his podcasts, he said, they asked him to do the show. And then he said, sure. And then he picked his charity, which he did work for when he was younger. But that he didn't go into the show just only for this cause. He went in because someone asked him to do the show. He said, sure. Thought it would probably be good networking, good marketing. Then he needed a charity. Of course, he's going to pull from his back pocket where he had already been that he cared about. So I just wanted to set that record straight that it is actually a fact and it's back in one of his podcasts. So check it out and listen to it and let me know what you think.
Yeah. iTunes, man.
Anyway, continue.
We love all that.
Well, now I'm lost.
I'm so wrapped up.
Check
your facts. Kristen's got them. So anyways, that is, yeah, you're right.
See, we do watch the iTunes. We read those comments.
We watch and DVR things and rewatch and re-listen. But yes, Arsenio, I don't know why I'm always like so connected with his story. If you talk about the sincerity of it all, his is just so cool in the sense that, you know, Magic Johnson broke his story of being contracted with HIV 20 years on Arsenio's show, and I've always appreciated like the way that Arsenio just seems such a good guy on a lot of levels. So I thought he let off pretty good. They just attacked him on how well do you get along with everybody.
Right, and he was honest. I appreciated that honesty, even coming from a man. You know, you're gonna call a girl a bitch. You're gonna call her really wacky, cracky names. He admitted it, and he went and apologized for it, and she accepted the apology. at first. But he admits his wrongdoings, and you move on. And he has moved on, and I like that.
And he has moved on.
Genuine.
Yeah, he's not just saying he's moved on. He's actually moved on because he's working well with Aubrey for the scenario.
Right.
Yeah.
Face to face, he's nice to her. Maybe to the confessional, he says maybe something a little bit different.
Or it's just a funny soundbite.
Yeah, and he's hilarious.
You guys,
so.
this is, you sound like Kimlai now. You guys, it is the most difficult show. I don't want to say to consist. Are you a little sweaty over there? It is the you're gonna go buy a fan on AfterBuzz and the Amazon thing. Make that happen, Kristen. But listen, it's one of the most difficult shows. This is just my opinion to like somebody almost on a consistent basis because you're judging them off personality, you're judging them off business, you're judging them off how well they work with others. This show, Celebrity Apprentice, is one of the most unique shows for us to watch. I mean, I really could appreciate that. I feel like all 4 of these final people that are in here. Probably with the exception of Aubrey, because yes, I do like her a lot. I think I've always liked her hustle. But you just go different places with them. Like 1 minute you're like, oh, Clay, right on, you're doing it all right. And then you're like, oh, Clay, you're doing it all wrong. One day you're like, Teresa, you're so goofy and naive. And then the next minute you have compassion for her. This is the only show out there that kind of does that to you. I'm just speaking from my heart on that one. Sorry. And then we get to Lisa. Now, my first thing I said to you guys was like, okay, Lisa, with being that it's Marlee and John Rich, you know, being the judges or the interviewers or whatnot, Lisa may favor the worst. Turns out she favors the best. Kristen and I looked at you right away just to see what you thought about it. But that didn't do so much for her now, did it?
No, I was shocked because they seemed really intimidated by her. Out of the 4 people they talked to, Lisa was, I felt like controlling the conversation, whereas John and Marlee had been controlling the conversation with everyone else. So when Lisa sat down, it was a completely different story, and definitely thought she was hanging on because it's almost like they had stars in their eyes when they were talking to her. Like, oh yes, Lisa, tell us more. And then all of a sudden, you're fired.
Or was it the show, the way they want to get you on the edge of your seat? You're just like, oh, Lisa's staying. I thought Lisa was staying for sure.
But I think that's good though, right? That is good TV because you think she's taking the lead on this, and then she's the one to go.
And if I do have any tough judgments over, because I kind of honestly was like, John Rich is really being difficult on these people, and it almost did seem like you said a little personal on some of the things.
Well, go ahead.
No,
sorry. His main thing was, it seemed, talking about the funds. Who's made the most money? Why didn't you make more money? Well, if you've got these people in your back pocket, why aren't you calling these people? Why don't you? Holy moly! And Marlee seemed more about the cause and how they connected, which just makes sense. John Rich being a guy, just a good call. I couldn't see Marlee getting all tough, in regards to the money, and John just sitting back and talking about the organizations.
Because her translator is quick. I think she's been with you were talking about the translator. I want to say he's been with her about 20 years. Like they've been together for a long time. Because there's the thought, why not with the female? That way it matches her voice a little bit more. But I think it's a good dynamic. It's funny, and Marlee's great. She's really, really good.
Yeah.
But watching it was a little difficult. I don't remember who's specific. We just watched the episode, guys. I want to say it was Clay that they had told him like, oh, great, so you got along with everybody and you were peaceful, whatever, but are you a follower? It did make it. It was
Clay, yeah.
This is what I thought just watching the show. It did make it where like, okay, so you're aggressive and you're just so, about your business and really trying to win this thing like Aubrey, then you get criticized as being too much. But then you're on the other side like Clay, and it's like, oh, well, don't be pushed over, don't be a floater. It was just a tough thing to watch.
It's hard. It's hard. It's hard for all of us, even myself, even Kristen. Checks and balances. Checks and balances. You know what I'm saying?
You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Yeah.
That's why it's a great show to watch.
We're all human.
So then we go to the boardroom. There's all 4 of them. The amazing assistant who really, I think all she does is get her pen and she does one. So funny. We've been really watching. She does one little line. I'm not sure what she's actually writing. So she calls them, Mr. Trump is ready to see you for. And we get the shock that Lisa goes home.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming.
That was a shocker. My heart raced. Raced. Yes, which is embarrassing. Don't tell anybody.
Was it all that candy you were eating? No.
It was probably the combination.
I know, you 2 little munchies.
And all the anti-anxiety medicines I've been taking.
Oh, there you go. So Lisa goes home. The episode pretty much ends, and we also find out, because that leaves now 3 people. That leaves Arsenio, Clay, and Aubrey, and then we get a to be continued.
Because one more person, right from the get, 2 people, 3 people were supposed to be fired tonight. 1 in the regular boardroom, and 2 from the Marlee and John decision.
Right.
But they're saving 1 for next week.
Yeah. And we're supposed to find out who that is in the first 10 minutes. We'll jump to predictions in a minute here. Do we have any news that we really want to talk about, or just like us?
Since we just brought up the
AfterBuzz TV.
the receptionist.
Yes.
In the.
Are you following her on Twitter?
I am not, but there was.
Oh, and how about Donald Trump Jr.'s hair? A little different.
Yeah, I liked his hair.
It was. I like when
He
he
got-
doesn't dress up so much.
Yeah, I like.
When he's a little casual.
I like
He was
his
a
hair.
little more
I
modern.
like those
He
Trump
didn't look
guys. I like
as
the
much of a
Trump
knob as usual. So 9, which is, I believe, a like news.
My water again. I keep burping.
Was that a burp? A live exclusive burp? That was brought to you by
Oh my gosh.
AfterBuzz's affiliate program with Amazon, just so you know. Bing it. Bing it.
Channel 9, which I believe is a British channel. This is very brief what I found on this. They apologized for running the sexist and offensive tweet about the receptionist Caitlin last week on the show. They had a pretty nasty tweet about her, and it was, let me read this for you. It said, the tweet was, the receptionist on Celebrity Apprentice is still working on that spreadsheet, ? She must have got her job spreading between the sheets, I suspect.
Oh, come
Oh,
on.
come on now.
Well, if you watch the show, as Kimlai, we all remember.
12?
And she worked, she's not 12, but she does work for Ivanka's company. She's
Yes.
probably a very productive person. We were just making the joke that what she actually writes is
I
just
know
like
what
one,
they have her
it's like-
do. Is why is she even there? You
her
can
pen,
go in
her-
now.
Her pen is not even held customarily. It's like she's got it like a 3-year-old. Mr. Trump wants to see you now. It's a little odd, but that's funny. That's funny, you know.
Yeah. Well, they apologized for it.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's already
I'm all
out there.
for the
My
tweet.
gosh.
It's funny now. She's like probably trending or something. On,
I
you
know.
know.
But once they say it, it's like once you put that image out there in people's mind, that perception now.
Yeah, because she
that's
actually
horrible.
works.
Could you imagine?
Yeah.
She's
That's
like
just
a-
horrible.
She actually is an employee.
Now it's out there.
Yes,
of
for Ivanka. Exactly.
So.
Speaking of people that work, I thought it was interesting.
Not
the
me.
girl, Kristen, you've been working hard all day for 2 weeks. The girl who they initially wanted to go with as far as the redhead model, I think her name was Elise or Janet. Those are two totally different names. Her name was Elise Janet.
What about her?
Well, I'm just saying, like, exposure-wise, like, she was in high demand. I don't know if that's going to turn into anything, but that's like...
Well, now the
it's
way
good.
her attitude turned out when they didn't tell her ahead of
That's
time, she was
right.
like, "You should have told me ahead of time." As she was walking out,
Yeah.
And she wasn't even a redhead. Oh, she's never working ever
she was
again.
strawberry blonde. Strawberry blonde
Yeah.
with the right lighting. She's red.
No, but I'm just talking about, like, you do these, you get this exposure.
Yeah, her
if you
face is out
if
there.
you look foolish, you know, maybe it'll hurt you. I don't know. It could or it couldn't. I think the puppet episode. Remember those talented improv people were. You know, I'm sure they're
Well, they're
doing
already
really
they're
well.
already working. Like one
Yeah.
of the guys from
Yeah.
that improv troupe actually was on reoccurring on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh, right.
Like in the first season. So
And-
you know they're already
Nice.
like.
And you're following
big
him on
ones.
Twitter.
Nice.
Absolutely not.
Okay,
I
no.
only follow a few select important people.
Okay, like Kimlai.
including Kimlai
Like
and
me.
Ronnie.
Like me.
Perfect. That wraps up the news. So there you go with the news. We'll do predictions in just 1 second. You guys, we're down to just 3 people, and it is kind of almost interesting to think there was 18 people. Is that what Donald
The
was saying?
most ever.
And I kind of forgot about so many people. Like Lou was only on a couple weeks ago, and I've already forgotten about Lou. Was it Twiggy, Cheryl Teagues? What's the difference? Did I just call him? What's the difference?
No, not Cheryl T.
One of
Wait.
them. One of those girls.
It was Cheryl.
One of
It
those.
wasn't Twiggy.
One of
Twiggy
the
wasn't
women
on
that
it.
used
not
to
Twiggy.
model.
Was it Cheryl Teagues though? Was it?
It was Cheryl.
It was one of the. She was the first
That
one
was
off.
on the show?
Yes,
Yeah.
one of the ladies that used to model
Twiggy
when it was
wasn't on
just black and white
No.
pictures, not even color back then.
Yeah, it wasn't Twiggy.
But I'm just saying that's like so many people have come and gone like on this season. Like that was a long. It was a long.
It's almost like it's sad, like in a way, when I'm home for Christmas and like everyone's getting older and they keep getting smaller and smaller the holidays. It's like I get home and there's only my mom and my dad sitting at the
and
table.
when you
and
go
I'm like,
home,
where's everybody?
you want to see George Takei at your dinner table.
and I want to see
Oh.
Lou and
Yeah.
So
Debbie
it's-
Gibson.
It's sad.
And the reason I brought that up, Adam Carolla, possibly you'd maybe want to see him there. I don't know. The reason I bring it up is because next week, after we do the third firing, which is really all in one sitting,
Yep.
It did carry over to another episode. We'll do the predictions of what we think who are going to be the final 2, but we get everyone back. We get everyone back, which is always so fun because
Paul, I forgot about Paul.
Because if you do somebody not dirty, but if you push them out, they're coming back, and now you either work with them or against them. So I think that's going to be exciting. Any final thoughts before we jump into predictions right now, you guys? All right, predictions time,
jump
Marissa.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Oh
Spooky.
boy. Okay, so the final 2. We have to decide who it is. I have got to choose Aubrey because I'm just such a fan of hers.
Yes.
I do think there is a lot stacked up against her. I don't know if Donald is going to really want to rock with her as being the final two, because now the season's over, and I think he probably was very excited to have her on the season because she just causes so much attention.
Absolutely.
But now that we're done, I don't know that he really needs her to win the whole thing. So I'm not sure, but I would love to see Aubrey get through it. You know, I would like that. If I had to choose Arsenio or Clay, gosh, they're both so good. I think Clay played better overall, possibly, but maybe he is a floater, so it's a lot. My two would be Aubrey versus Clay. Like, those would be the final two. But I've really become a fan of Arsenio. Like, he's just really impressive, and I think he's a good guy, and this is great exposure for him. Maybe he gets a late night TV show again.
Oh.
So we could all go, who. Yeah, I used to watch this show every night.
My
my mom told me to go to sleep, and I just always hated to go to sleep at like 10:30.
Who does?
Yeah.
My final two standing, I think, would be no, I don't think. I mean,
Oh, you were
Clay.
there. You were in the shoot.
Clay and Arsenio, and I think Clay's gonna win. I think he's gonna take it all.
Yeah. They did stress that whole like, oh, you've always been second place, and like, yeah, when John Rich was talking to him, he stressed this whole like, oh, you've always kind of not won, or like I. Kind of seems like we're going to see him being the winner.
Yeah. I guess I would say from the angle of the previews, I hate to cheat on predictions with the previews, but just the way Donald is facing Lisa and Clay were on his right, Aubrey and Arsenio were on his left, and when they showed him saying like you're fired, unless they repeated the Lisa you're firing, it looked like he was pointing in Clay's direction.
Oh.
So based off of that, I would go with Aubrey and Arsenio, although I would like Clay to stick around, but I would say that Arsenio and Aubrey, I would like to duke it out, since Aubrey's badmouthed him so much and said he doesn't do anything and he's not smart and he's not contributing anything, that putting them up head to head and then Arsenio beating Aubrey, I'd be like, yeah, it's pretty great.
Yeah. So. All right. Well, there's a lot of thoughts off Kristen's mind over there, and if you want more thoughts from the great Kristen Carney, you can obviously go check her out on Twitter and her website. What are they?
You can follow me on Twitter at Kristen Carney, KristenCarney, and go to my blog, sweatthesmallstuffwithkristen.com, and like it on Facebook. That's the most important part.
And your winner is going to be who?
My winner is going to be Arsenio, because I like where his heart is.
Oh, he is a good guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can follow me on Twitter at Kimlai Yingling. Check out the website Eaten Asian at eatenasian.com. And also like the Facebook fan page at facebook.com/EatenAsian.
Do it.
She raps now too.
Oh yeah.
Who is your big winner? Do you
Clay. I
all
totally
the way?
think this is good. She's got Arsenio. I have Clay. And you,
There we
you
are.
want Aubrey.
Follow
How
me.
funny.
Follow me at Ronnie Jr Media or randomlyronniejr.com, which is my blog. And if you search through my blog, you'll have seen pictures of me with Aubrey from years ago. So I've obviously been a fan for enough years and love everything she's been through and appreciate the fact that she's willing to learn and grow, which is
absolutely.
Balance is such a big thing. I've struggled with it for so much of my life as far as trying to pursue entertainment or whatnot. So I think that we're getting something with that with her. So I'd like to see her win. Thank you, everyone. iTuners, please continue to comment. Maybe suggest who you think should be the big winner.
Absolutely.
You know, let's keep the conversation going.
Yep.
Twitter, AfterBuzz, we appreciate it. Thank you to our amazing technical director over there, Marissa. Her nickname is Mars. And we're out here for
Asians rock. Asians rock.
Asians rock.
Doing it right.
Celebrity Apprentice, AfterBuzz. Thank you and good night.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.